Hello students, let's continue our lecture on drugs for dyslipidemia. Drugs for dyslipidemia. Drugs for dyslipidemia are as follows. Statins are HMG, coenzyme A, reductase inhibitors, bile acid binding agents. Fibrates. Fibrates are also known as lipoprotein lipase activators. Niacin, lipolysis and triglyceride synthesis inhibitors. Ezetimibe. Ezetimibe comes under intestinal cholesterol absorption inhibitor. Newer drugs for dyslipidemia are PCSK9 monoclonal antibody, lomitapide, icosapent, mipomersen. In the previous lecture, we have studied about statins, bile acid binding agents, and fibrates. Next drug for the treatment of dyslipidemia is niacin. And the main action of niacin is to decrease triglycerides and to increase HDL cholesterol. Niacin. Niacin is also known as lipolysis and triglycerides synthesis inhibitor. Niacin is vitamin B3. And the main action of niacin is to decrease triglycerides and to increase HDL cholesterol. Niacin causes maximum increase in HDL cholesterol. Therefore, niacin is used in the treatment of hypertriglyceridemia with decreased HDL. Niacin is the only hypolipidemic drug that reduces lipoprotein A level. So, lipoprotein A level is only reduced by niacin. Mechanism of action of niacin can be explained with the help of this diagram. Adipocytes contain triglycerides. Triglycerides in adipocytes are acted upon by hormone sensitive lipase, and that result in breakdown of triglycerides into free fatty acid and glycerol, and the process is known as lipolysis. Free fatty acids are transported to blood vessel. From blood vessel, they are again transported to liver. In the liver, free fatty acids are responsible for the formation of triglycerides in the liver. So, triglycerides are formed from free fatty acids in the liver. Triglycerides are transported to rough endoplasmic reticulum with the help of MTTP. MTTP is microsomal triglycerides transfer protein. In the rough endoplasmic reticulum, triglycerides are combined with proteins, and that cause formation of VLDL, very low density lipoproteins. These VLDL, very low density lipoproteins, are transported to blood vessel, where VLDL, that is very low density lipoproteins, help in the formation of IDL, intermediate density lipoproteins. IDL, that is intermediate density lipoproteins, help in the formation of LDL, that is low density lipoproteins. Now we will study how niacin acts to decrease triglycerides. So niacin inhibits hormone sensitive lipase, that is niacin inhibits lipolysis, as a result of which breakdown of triglyceride into free fatty acid and glycerol is decreased. So free fatty acids will get decreased in blood vessel. That results in decrease in free fatty acids in liver. And since free fatty acids are responsible for formation of triglycerides in the liver, triglycerides level will also get decreased in the liver. And that result in decrease in VLDL. Decrease in VLDL in the blood vessel will result in decrease in IDL, and decrease in IDL will result in decrease in LDL in the blood vessel. So we have studied how niacin acts to decrease triglyceride level. Side effects of niacin. Side effects of niacin are as follows: flushing and pruritus of face and upper trunk. Flushing is due to cutaneous vasodilation. Both these side effects are due to increased prostaglandin synthesis, and prostaglandins are inflammatory mediators. So prostaglandins are responsible for flushing and pruritus. One way to get relieved from these side effects is to add aspirin to niacin, and the other way to get relieved from these side effects is to add laropiprant to niacin. Now laropiprant is prostaglandin receptor antagonist. Next side effect is acanthosis nigricans, that is velvety skin pigmentation. To get relieved from the side effect, topical administration of salicylic acid is advised. Next side effect of niacin is increased uric acid level. Therefore, niacin is avoided in patients of gout. Niacin also causes increase in blood sugar level as a side effect. Therefore, niacin is avoided in patients of diabetes mellitus. Next drug for the treatment of dyslipidemia is ezetimibe. Ezetimibe. Ezetimibe is intestinal cholesterol absorption inhibitor. Mechanism of action of ezetimibe. Ezetimibe inhibits NPC1L1 transporters, which are present in enterocytes of small intestine. Full form of NPC1L1 transporter is Niemann-Pick C1-like 1 transporters. Inhibition of NPC1L1 transporters results in reduction of cholesterol absorption from small intestine. So ezetimibe reduces cholesterol absorption from small intestine. Use of ezetimibe. Ezetimibe is given as an add-on drug to statins. Mechanism of action of ezetimibe can be explained with the help of this diagram. I have shown in blue color NPC1L1 transporter in small intestine. NPC1L1 transporter in small intestine is responsible for absorption of cholesterol, and after that cholesterol is delivered to hepatocyte by chylomicron. Ezetimibe inhibits NPC1L1 transporter. So there is inhibition of cholesterol absorption and decreased delivery of cholesterol to hepatocyte by chylomicron. Cholesterol level in hepatocyte is decreased. That causes increase in LDL cholesterol receptor on the surface of hepatocyte. Due to increase in LDL cholesterol receptor on the surface of hepatocyte, there will be increased uptake of LDL cholesterol from blood vessel. So the end result is decrease in plasma LDL cholesterol. So ezetimibe action is to decrease plasma LDL cholesterol by this mechanism. Use of ezetimibe. Ezetimibe is used as an add-on therapy to statin, because ezetimibe and statins both are synergistic in action. Ezetimibe results in decrease in cholesterol level in hepatocyte. Statins, by inhibiting HMG coenzyme A reductase, also cause decrease in cholesterol level in hepatocyte. To reduce cholesterol level in hepatocyte, there is increase in LDL cholesterol receptor on the surface of hepatocyte. So increase in cholesterol, LDL cholesterol uptake from blood vessel. So plasma LDL cholesterol is decreased. So both the drugs are synergistic in action, and ezetimibe is used as an add-on therapy to statins. Newer drugs for the treatment of dyslipidemia. PCSK9 monoclonal antibody. Examples include evolocumab, alirocumab. Evolocumab and alirocumab are monoclonal antibodies that bind with PCSK9 and thus inhibit breakdown of LDL cholesterol receptors on the surface of hepatocytes. PCSK9 is a protein that binds and breaks LDL cholesterol receptor on the surface of hepatocyte. These monoclonal antibodies, they bind with PCSK9 and inhibit breakdown of LDL cholesterol receptors. Due to inhibition of breakdown of LDL cholesterol receptor, LDL cholesterol receptors will increase in number, and LDL cholesterol receptor will take up more LDL cholesterol from blood to hepatocyte. As a result, LDL cholesterol in blood will get reduced. PCSK9 monoclonal antibodies result in reduced plasma LDL cholesterol. PCSK9 monoclonal antibody, example evolocumab and alirocumab, they are given as subcutaneous injection every 2 to 4 weeks. Uses of evolocumab and alirocumab, they are used as add-on therapy with statins in patients of familial hypercholesterolemia. Familial hypercholesterolemia is a genetic condition with increased LDL cholesterol in blood. We know that PCSK9 monoclonal antibody like evolocumab and alirocumab help in reducing plasma LDL cholesterol. Therefore, they are used in familial hypercholesterolemia treatment as an add-on therapy with statins. Evolocumab and alirocumab are also used as add-on therapy with statins in patients of atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. Next drug is lomitapide. Lomitapide inhibits MTTP, microsomal triglycerides transfer protein. Now this MTTP can be shown in the figure. This one is MTTP, microsomal triglycerides transfer protein. MTTP is required for transport of triglycerides to rough endoplasmic reticulum. In rough endoplasmic reticulum, there is attachment of proteins to triglycerides, and protein plus triglyceride equal to VLDL, very low density lipoprotein. Now the drug lomitapide inhibits MTTP. That results in decrease in transport of triglycerides to rough endoplasmic reticulum, resulting in decrease in VLDL in liver, and this VLDL is transported to blood vessel. So VLDL is decreased in blood vessel. Due to that, IDL is decreased in blood vessel, and the result is LDL is decreased in blood vessel. So lomitapide results in decreased plasma LDL level. Lomitapide is used in treatment of familial hypercholesterolemia. Familial hypercholesterolemia is a genetic condition with increased LDL cholesterol in blood. We have studied that lomitapide decreases plasma LDL cholesterol level. Therefore, lomitapide is used in treatment of familial hypercholesterolemia. Next drug is icosapent. Icosapent inhibits VLDL synthesis and secretion directly. It can be shown here in the figure. This is the site of action of icosapent. It inhibits the synthesis of VLDL and secretion of VLDL. Directly acting here, it inhibits the synthesis and secretion of VLDL. The drug is icosapent. What is the use of icosapent? Treatment of familial hypertriglyceridemia. Familial hypertriglyceridemia is a genetic condition with overproduction of VLDL from liver. Next drug for the treatment of dyslipidemia is mipomersen. Mipomersen is antisense oligonucleotide that inhibits apolipoprotein B100 synthesis in the liver. Mipomersen is approved for treatment of familial hypercholesterolemia. It is given parenterally once a week. This is the table of hyperlipoproteinemia types and treatment. Types of hyperlipoproteinemia: type 1, 2A, 2B, 3, 4 and 5. In this table we will study types of hyperlipoproteinemia, lipoprotein which is elevated and the treatment of hyperlipoproteinemia. Type 1, chylomicrons are elevated, dietary modification is the treatment. Type 2A, LDL is elevated, treatment includes statins and ezetimibe. Type 2B, LDL and VLDL are elevated, treatment is fibrates, statins and niacin. Type 3, IDL is elevated, treatment includes fibrates. Type 4, VLDL is elevated, treatment includes fibrates. Type 5, chylomicrons and VLDL are elevated, treatment is fibrate and niacin. This is the table of optimal plasma lipid level. Plasma lipid like total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, HDL cholesterol and triglycerides. The optimal or desirable level of these plasma lipids are shown in this table. In case of total cholesterol, the optimal level is less than 200 mg per deciliter. LDL cholesterol less than 100 to 129 mg per deciliter. HDL cholesterol for men it is more than 40 mg per deciliter. For women it is more than 50 mg per deciliter. In case of triglycerides, the optimal level is less than 150 mg per deciliter. The optimal level of LDL cholesterol is considered less than 70 mg per deciliter for patients with history of coronary artery disease or ischemic heart disease. So for patients having history of coronary artery disease, that is ischemic heart disease, the desirable level of LDL cholesterol is less than 70 mg per deciliter. That completes our topic of dyslipidemia. Thank you.